First of all, you're going to need to download Ultimate Doom Builder. This is the level editor everybody uses to make Doom levels these days. I'll put a link to it down below, but you can just Google Ultimate Doom Builder and you'll end up here. Just come down here and you can download it here. The features in this level editor are amazingly modern compared to what they had back in the 90s. It's incredibly powerful. So this is what Ultimate Doom Builder is going to look like when you open it up. We need to make a new map. We're going to go File, New Map, and there's a bunch of formats up here. Hedon maps are in UDMF format, which is this one here. So you need that, and you want ZDoom ACS. Now the map name, these are all from map and then a 2-digit number, and the built-in Hedon maps run from map 1, I believe, to map 22. So you want to choose a number that's bigger than that so it doesn't conflict with any of the existing maps. If there is ever a third episode released, I assume that would run from 23 to 30 something. So choose something that's high and not going to conflict. I'm going to do 77 because the map I'm going to make is going to be an homage to map 7 of Doom 2. And now we need to add some resources. So we click Add Resources, come across to PK3s, click this little icon, and now you're going to have to find your Hedon directory. For me, it's in Program Files, Steam Apps, Common, Hedon Blood Rights. If you own Hedon on GOG, I assume it will be somewhere different, but I can't help you with that. I mean, yeah, you're just going to have to find it. And we're going to need to add this big one here, this 0.5 gigabyte Hedon IPK3. Press open, and then OK, and that's in there. And we also need to go and fetch in exactly the same way this one, hgzdoom.pk3. This is Hedon gzdoom. We don't need the thick edition. Don't add that. And then OK. So now they're both here, and we don't have any of those warnings anymore. Press OK, and I guess it's just loading up. Yep. Okay. So we got a new map. Okay, we got a whole bunch of errors. Now Zan tells me, he assures me that this is normal and nothing to worry about. It looks to me like it's all stuff that's about regular old Doom things and textures, missing stuff. So I guess it doesn't really matter because it's all regular Doom stuff. Blue skull key. There are no blue skull keys in Hedon. So we're going to clear those. And there's one more thing we need to do before we can start making our map. If we go to Tools, I think, yeah, Tools, Game Configuration, and you come across to Testing, there's this bit here which says Engine. You press the plus next to this, and you want to choose your hedon.exe from exactly the same folder as where you got your PK3s from. It looks like I've added it a bunch of times already because it's in the drop-down list 4 times now, but you need that here. That's so that when you actually press run, you'll be able to run the map in the right engine, and you can choose what default skill level you want to run it on, by the way, as well. It's called Hurt Me Plenty here, but it's just a 3rd skill level. So in Hedon, that would be the equivalent of, I don't remember the name. Don't worry about it. You can change that here anyway in the drop-down. You can choose which difficulty you want. Right, we're going to, first of all, real quick, we're going to make a rectangle. So I'm going to try and make a dead simple type map. So I've made a rectangle. This is going to be a room, and you go over here to Things mode, this little blue circle, and we're going to right-click to add a thing in here, and we're going to add the player 1 start, which is where our player character is going to start from. I'm going to point them up so they start pointing up, because personally I find that most intuitive. You can press space to drag and move this around. Okay, and now I'm going to press play to test and see how big the map feels. So we just press play, and here we are. We're well on our way to having a Hedon map now. Okay, this room's a bit smaller than I was hoping it would be. I'm going to need to make this bigger for a start. But that's how easy it is to get started. I'm going to grab these lines and bring them out a bit. And I'm going to make another rectangle, which is going to be one of our sort of mancubus platforms equivalents. They're going to have gluttons on them instead. I think maybe about this big. Now I'm going to press Q on the keyboard, which is going to take us into first person mode, and we can sort of walk around with the ESDF keys instead of the WASD keys. You've got to move your fingers one button to the right. Okay, first things first, I'm going to change this wall texture. So if you hold Control and click, it will select all the walls, and then you can right click, and you get this little texture chooser up. We're going to need to change this one, so we'll click on this. Bunch of texture options come up. So we've got all the textures in the Hedon catalog. We just type in at the bottom here. I'm going to type MA for masonry. And it'll still, so I want one of these brick textures. Let's take this one. And I'm going to push the ceiling up a bit. So this is just scrolling the mouse wheel after selecting the ceiling. I want this room to be quite tall because in the end I want to try and bring the big chonker last boss in from the first episode, the big pit lord, and this thing's coming up. This is going to be one of these platforms. Not sure exactly how tall I want this to be yet. I'm going to select the sides of this and put one of these metal textures on here. I think, yeah, something like this, or this one maybe. Now I can just aim at this and press Control C to copy, and aim at this and press Control V to paste. That's not as lined up as I'd have liked it to have been. Let's line that up in this view. So I'm just going to move the vertices to the places where they'll be lined up. Okay, I'm going to go to Things mode, and I'm going to bring in a glutton. Here he is. Here's our glutton. Probably better put some weapons in for a player. Let's have an axe. So I'm going to type axe in here. Axe, there we go. And maybe a spike gun or something. Type in spike gun, and maybe a spike mag. Or I'm going to save it. Seems sensible. Let's call it map 77.wad. That's fine. Got a bunch of warnings. All right, let's just run it. Okay, here's our axe. There's our glutton. Here's our spike gun. We can reload it. All right, we're getting somewhere. Now I'm going to copy and paste this platform around. There's one. Two. Maybe they're a bit close to each other. I'm not sure. Three and four. Let's make the room a bit bigger. Haven't really planned this out. I don't know how big this should be. Let's keep it a little bit bigger. Okay. Let's see. I probably don't have enough ammo to kill all of the gluttons. Alright, looks like it takes about one clip to kill them, so I'm not going to have enough. Nope, I've run out of ammo. Oh, I'm dead. Okay. Well, that's pretty difficult. Let's draw. So there's going to be like a raised area around the edge. Let's just make it kind of narrow for now. But for now, let's do it like this. It's just a polygon tool. You just click, click, click. It makes us some new sectors. Let's raise these up a little bit. I'm just going to select each one and then scroll the mouse wheel up a little bit, like maybe this much. Let's see, can we get away with putting this on here? I'm going to press down on the keyboard to scroll this texture down a bit. Does this going to fit? Not really. Let's select these tops again and bring it down a couple of pixels. And then select these, 2, 3, 4. There we go. That's pretty nice. Let's put some sort of stone texture on top of here. Okay, what have we got? Maybe let's try this. Is this going to work? That looks a bit silly, but that'll do. Okay, we're going to need a lot more ammo. So last thing I put down was a magazine, so I can just keep right-clicking and putting down more. Now I'll have a chance at actually defeating these monsters. Let's give it a go. Alright, easy peasy lemon squeezy. This is going well. Alright, let's close this. What should we do next? I think in the real Dead Simple there's actually 6 mancubuses. So I'm going to add another 2 that are walking around the outside somewhere. Maybe one down here or something. So right now all my my gluttons are all facing upwards. I'm just going to select them all and hold Control and press L. Nope. And hold Shift and press L, and they're all going to look inwards to where my cursor is. So now when we start the game, they'll all be looking towards us. In fact, I'm going to move Zan back a bit. I'm starting a bit too close to the action, I think. Okay, we're going to make a switch. You can press the square brackets to change the grid size, by the way. I want it to be a 1 pixel grid so I can make a really small indentation in the wall. I happen to know the switch texture that I'm using is going to be 16 pixels wide, so I've made a 16 pixel wide sector here. We're going to choose our switch here, SW, and it's this one, 16 by 32. Okay, okay. And now we can see it here. We're going to bring this ground up to here. And bring the ceiling down. Just grab this little sliver to here. I'm going to copy and paste the bricks on here. Press A to align and Shift A to align vertically. Here's our little switch. Maybe that's too high, I'm not sure. So we want our switch to control the platform. We're going to need to give the platform a tag. Let's press New. This gives us the next available tag, which is 1, because we haven't made any yet. So that's tag 1 now. I'm also going to move the spike gun onto the platform. The idea is we need to bring it down so we can get the spike gun. So our little switch is going to control it. We're going to select it here. And we're going to click here and click floor lower by value. The sector tag is 1. I want speed to be slow, I think. This is when player presses use because it's a switch. We're going to lower it by 60 pixels. So those blocks are 64 pixels high, so it should just leave a little bit showing at the bottom. Alright, let's give it a test. I'm going to go straight for the switch. There we go, it's going down. Let's grab the gun. I don't know how much life I've got, I have the thing turned off. Okay, well, it worked. It was a bit bloody difficult, but There we go. Let's make some more. So I'm going to give these some tags first. This one can be tag 2. Can be tag 3. And this one can be tag 4. Now let's copy and paste our little switch. I'm going to need to increase the grid size again. Hold on. So one up here. I don't know about that distance. It's going to be a bit different. On here. It's going to rotate this one because it's on the other side. Something like that. And one more down here. Something like that. Okay, I'm going to change the tags on these. So this one controls number 2. This one's going to be number 3. There. This one, number 4. Okay, we need some sounds on the elevators. Let's just do that quick. So I'm just going to select all 4 of these. The left button, then right click. And in sound sequence, I'm going to find elevator 1. That's the loud dung 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 type sound, hopefully. Yeah, okay. We've got to fix the textures real quick. Just pasting the texture with after copying and align all of these. That looks good. Let's try this again. Oh, hold on. First of all, I'm going to put some more items on. Let's have the frag fire can on here. Frag fire gun. I'm sorry. Frag fire gun. And let's put some cans lying around. Just scatter these about a bit. Maybe another one there. And then I think I'm going to have armor on here. Armor. I want a medium armor. There it is. Okay. And on this one, I'm going to have a power core. Later on, I've got plans to use the power cores. I'm going to have a series of power cores and a bunch of optional doory things you can open with them. But, okay, we've got some stuff to test. We've got to test the sound and all the different switches, making sure they all bring down the... Okay, I died straight away. Maybe this is a bit too difficult. I might need to remove some of these guys. Okay, it's working pretty well though. Okay, well, okay, I'm just going to run down the middle and test these other 2 switches, make sure they're okay. That's good. Yeah, okay. So all the switches are working alright. Bring my interface back on. Alright. The sounds are working. This is all going very well. I'm going to add a quick exit to the map. Just change the grid size a bit. Maybe like a corridor up here, just to demonstrate how you'll make an exit. Cheeky little corridor. There's going to be a line here that when you cross it, the level's going to end. So this line, we're going to give it the action 243, which is something I looked up earlier. That is end normal. I haven't got that memorized. And this is going to be when the player walks over. So when we walk over here, it's going to end. And we need to add one of those little exit symbols. Type in exit. And we got this thingy. Place that down. There it is. I'm going to move it up a bit with the mouse wheel. And I'm going to move the ceiling down with my corridor here. The corridor's a bit wide actually, I think. We'll be okay. Why have I got an extra vertex there? I'm going to move that off. Don't need that. Okie dokie. I'm going to make it sort of dark and foggy. I want it to be a kind of a scary foggy map. Let's go with 200 fog density. And the color of the fog, you come here to fade. You got to move it up off black, otherwise it won't work. I want really dark, so I'm going to go 111. Okay. It is a bit ridiculously difficult, so I think I'm going to remove a couple of these guys because I keep dying. But we should now have a exitable map. Yeah, it's nice and spooky. Maybe it's too dark, I don't know. We'll grab the frag fire this time. Okay, this is going well. Much more manageable with just 4 of them. Just walked over that and picked it up, I think. Okay, double check these work. Got these items. We're going to head on. Maybe I'll move that icon up a little bit more. So there it says unnamed. So the map hasn't got a name yet. Or a part-time. Okay. Oh my goodness, we've gone straight into the exit. Yeah, okay. Well, all of that stuff we'll be sorting out in the next episode, I think. Yeah, next episode we're going to name the map. We're going to make it selectable from the main menu chapter select, and hopefully make it so that when you complete the map that doesn't happen. Alright, GG.